Eredivisie. It's deep. I want to ask you about an Arsenal deal, and then we are going to move on to Arsenal and the title and everything on the show. Gundogan to Arsenal. Do you, as a City fan, see him choosing to go to Arsenal over staying at Man City or going to Barcelona? How do you see that one panning out, Steve?
It's not happening, is it? It's deluded FC again, isn't it? You know what I mean? They've just lost the league. They've bottled that. They're trying to get some positive press out of there. So I know what we'll do. We'll link Arsenal to Manchester City's captain, Ilkay. He made the Cockneys cry, Gundogan. And listen, you believe that nonsense, you believe anything. Ilkay Gundogan has got the pick of where he wants to go. If he wants to stay at City for another couple of years, he can. If he wants to go to Barcelona and chill out and do what he's doing out there, he can. He's definitely not going to Arsenal, though, so they need to remember that it's not happening. That's not it. Definitely not happening. 1,000,000%.
A few Gunners are quite confident. A few think it can. Do you think it is just PR, though, to try and...
People need to look at what comes out and the timing of things that comes out. Think about it. Take a step back. Clubs know what they're doing. You know, Arsenal want all the fucking fire putting right away from them at the minute, because what they have done this year, 240 days at the top, yeah, we are built different than Man City. They haven't got what we've got. All that shit that got spouted by everybody, all the pundits telling us how Arsenal have got over every hurdle and all that stuff, yeah, to do what they did in the last lane, that's like Usain Bolt setting off in the 100 metres and in the last 10 metres falling over, doing a couple of tipple overs, a couple of handstands and fucking finishing last. But that's what Arsenal did. They flopped it. Them draws, points, Forest beat them, Brighton beat them, City beat them, West Ham draw, Liverpool draw. That's not acceptable when you've been top of the league all season. If Manchester City would have done that, what they did, 240 days at the top, and then dropped them points, we'd have been the laughing stock of Europe because we're Manchester City Football Club. But I told them at the Emirates, I told them what was coming. They called me arrogant. They called me this. They called me that. You don't know what you're talking about. You're this, you're that. There was no mention of oil. There was no mention of charges. There's no mention of cheating when they were top of the league by 8 points. It was all how Arsenal was beating this big Man City giant and you can't cope and all that shit. And then when they fell flat on the face, all the bullshit came out from everywhere. You know what I mean? Oh, well, we've got the youngest squad, so... Yeah, but we did well to push Man City. No, you didn't push us, mate. You were top of the league. We pushed you. And at the end of the day, it caught up with them. They can talk about Gundogan all they want. They're going to end up with fucking N'Golo Kante on a free. And they're going to finish 7th next season. And then they'll all be fighting with each other again outside the ground. And they'll all be, you know, attacking Don Robbie in the fucking hot dog stand and shit. And then that'll be Arsenal back to being Arsenal again. So it was good while it lasted. But, you know, you've got to be built different, like we said, to come up with this Manchester City team, and they're built nowhere like us. No, nothing like us.
You don't see Arsenal coming for your title again next year, having that good summer. You know, they bought the dog.
And you know the comments, they say I'm arrogant. I'm not arrogant, it's confidence. If you win 5 out of 6 titles, if you go on a 23-game unbeaten run when you're 8 points behind, yeah, and everyone's saying you finished. They were all in my DMs when we drew at Forest. You fucked, you're not the same team, you're this, wait till Arsenal do this, telling me when the parade was going to be and all that. All I said was one word, and it rattled the whole of North London, the big blue shark. Erling Haaland, on Saturday night at 9:05, messaged Big Steve in my DMs, Erling Haaland. I didn't message him. He messaged me a picture of a great white shark. And then me and Erling Haaland had a conversation for half an hour about what that shark did to them. And let me tell you that. So you can call Big Steve a bellend all you want. You can call me arrogant all you want. But Erling Braut Haaland knows that when Big Steve says the shark's coming, the fucking shark's coming. Close the beach for the summer. Don't go in the water because it's dangerous. And it ended up with the Premier League title at Manchester City on Sunday with blue ribbons on it. Like I said on this very show, we will see what happens at the end of May. And look what happened, Terry. Big Steve was right. So instead of calling me arrogant, just say you was right, Steve, and you know ball.
I love how you're telling that story in the third person. It actually sounds better in the third person. It really does. And so you had a half an hour chat with Haaland and the squad. All must know about this big shark thing, then. Big blue shark.
They know about I know they know about it because they watched it on the way back from Arsenal. But there was no one more surprised than me because I won the league. My phone was going off the hook. I was chatting to a few people. I was at a barbecue, and then bang, this Erling Haaland message came through, and it was just a shark, a great white shark.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow. So I said, listen, bro, we told him. And I'm not going to tell you what he said to me because, you know, it's like,
it's private.
Yeah, it's a private chat. But let me tell you that when one of the biggest superstars on the planet who you've watched all season is a hero, to me and my kids and all the family, message and take time out and say some nice things. And it made me feel good, man. And I tell you, it made me feel like all them away trips, all them coaches and trains and planes was worth it, that the players are actually, they know we're on the front line. We know we've got the best interest of the club at heart. And listen, he's a top guy, nice guy, down-to-earth guy. And he's got things loading. That's all I'm saying. He's got things loading.
Yeah, I never wish injury on anybody, but I hope he has a slight hamstring strain before that FA Cup final, because I am worried about going up against that guy, because he's an absolute monster. He really, really is. He really is. There's no doubt about it. Nabil here says, this City fan is speaking facts. Arsenal did choke of the century this season and last season. I told you Arsenal ain't winning. It amazed me how people downplay. Look, I think when anyone downplays any team, I think the people that wrote Arsenal off as they're not even improved. Like, a lot of people have been up Gary Neville's backside recently. Oh, he's right. He's right about some of it, but he also said they'd fall into a top 4 race at Christmas, and that's not true. He also said United would overtake them. So they're downplaying Arsenal's season as if it was awful all year. That was wrong. Equally, people that were talking about City being rubbish, nowhere near their standard, I also thought that was crazy as well. But then I think it's that polarized world we live in now, Steve. Everything's either you're world class or you're shit. There is almost no in between anymore. It's very, very weird. It's a very, very weird world that we live in. That's the biggest flex in the history of the show. It is, to be fair. Haaland sent me a picture of a shark. You need context for that, because if no one
sent me some other pictures as well, but I ain't going to show you them. But the bigger deal than that was when I told everyone Erling Haaland had signed for Manchester City, and they didn't believe me because I knew, because I was told. And then I sent his dad a text. If you go on the City Extra show, week before he signed, I sent his dad a text. It was like my preaching to Alfie Haaland to bring Erling to Manchester, and watch the show. I sent him a text live on air to his dad, and he read it. So I'm getting the credit for Big Earl signing for City. So I want a bit of compo or something, or a signed shirt.
Well, his dad got £25 million from Man City directly. So
listen, he deserves £50 million, one for every goal he scored, million for every goal, man. He deserves, Terry. You know that.
But this is the thing with money, right? If you spend, look, Man United do drop £100 million on Kane in the summer, and he scores 40 goals in all comps next year, and we win something massive, no one will care. He cost 50 odd million because of the buyout clause. You add up all the Haaland's
when
really
Eric Cantona
worth it.
When Eric Cantona was winning things for Man United and he made Man United unbelievable, did anybody know how much money he was on, or what his agent got paid, or what his granddad got? Nobody gave a fuck. It's just modern day shit, mate. It's bullshit. They can't beat you. If they can't beat you on the pitch, they can beat you off the pitch with a stick, and then it goes down to counting seats on Match of the Day with us. So, you know what I mean? I'd rather be in a treble race in Istanbul than sat watching X Factor. If there's any Arsenal fans or United fans out there, on June the 10th, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be in Istanbul, but I'd really like you to tape the X Factor. Will you tape it for me, Terry, in fact? You get it on record.
Fuck off. Mate, listen, I hear you. Like, I see that. Look, I have a little laugh and joke about it and everything else, but it's not a W. Yeah, okay, the City got less fans, but you'd swap place with them right now as a football team without a shadow of a doubt.